We have a few questions, so regarding to the applications and so on, so let's answer them right now. I think the first one you already answered because the clock starts at application instead of like when you receive the permanence. So the resident requirements now starts only when you receive the cards, not at the time of application, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's important to understand that during the analysis period, the right is not still like granted. You don't have a residence permit yet. It's not, of course, we are going to prepare everything properly, knowing what are the requirements so you can meet all the requirements, and there is no reason for them to deny our application at the end, but we cannot like guarantee that it will be 100% correct. So if there is anything missing, if you need to, because the government can ask for further documents if needed, this is really rare. I'm just trying to say that it's not a right that you have before they finally complete your process. You still need to come to Portugal for the biometrics. You still need to receive the cards, and only after that they consider that the process is complete. So before it's complete, you don't need to meet the requirements. It only starts after you have like a final approval for that.
Yeah, and I remember you said AIMA has this meeting with the lawyers and they actually clarified this one. Yeah, so it's pretty clear right now.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. Given the current delays in processing, like they say that it was taking 2 years, does it matter as much now? The clock starts at the application. So I think not really. If the aim is for citizenship, right? If the aim is for a resident card that they could live here part-time, maybe there is some inconvenience not having that card. But if your aim is having the citizenship, actually it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then there's also a question about the language requirement. Is there any exception for people with language challenge, such as autism? I think
that's a good question. Not sure about that, but I believe there might be some flexibility if we can prove the situation, like with a health report, with a medical report. This is something that we could pursue.
And they could also take the course, the recognized course instead of taking the exam. If that doesn't work, right? There's another questions I think we might need to look into, because they say in the US to avoid tax ramifications must direct rollover to investment firm. Can fund be rollover, or must you open bank account first to create, and then but then there's tax consequences there.
If I could understand, I know that, well, this part of the bank account opening process can be challenging for some nationalities. In this case, there are some options where you can directly invest from your country of origin to the fund, but still we will need like a declaration just to affirm and attest that how was the path, like how the money ended up here in Portugal, like just to make sure that everything was under control and under the compliance rules.
Right. And then one other question is, what happens if the main applicant dies during the 5 years or get divorced?
Yeah, about that, the law says that after a certain period of time, the family members will be still eligible for renewals of their permits. But in cases like that, if the investment is withdrawn, like if it's not here anymore before the end of 5 years, they could still apply for the renewals, but in this case, it will be the standard residence permit, not the one with the advantages of a Golden Visa one.
And then there's also, is this a one-time investment? What do you mean by maintaining the investment? Yes, I think I can answer this as a one-time investment. Maintaining is not divesting from that investment, so you maintain it. We recommend it until you get your citizenship. Right.
Yeah.
Does Golden Visa allow inclusion of applicant's domestic partner, not spouse?
Yeah. So there's a different way to prove that. It won't be a marriage certificate, so we just need to prove that this couple is together for at least 2 consecutive years from the moment of application. So we need to get for the past 2 years relevant documentation proving common life, like common housing, or if you have a joint bank statement or a joint tax return for the past 2 years, this is possible to be used as proof of like stable union, civil partnership. So it's also possible, yeah.
Yeah, actually, we do have a lot of clients that has domestic partners instead of spouse.
Yeah.
And do I have to attend renewals in person as well?
Well,
Like,
this
they
is
just changed, right? Yeah,
it's kind of a gray area right now because since the pandemic, renewals were being online and automatic. So they are organizing things now. So they are improving their services. We had a meeting with AIMA agents, and they said that actually they will need to be in person. So for the renewals, the applicants will need to be here and go again to AIMA to proceed with that. Yeah.
and what avenue exists for non-dependent children to gain citizenship? They don't have 500K investment. I think that's another. We do have other types of visa, but they need to live in Portugal.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the other types of visa, you need to live like almost full-time in Portugal.
Yeah,
So
if they are not dependents, they won't be able to join the Golden Visa process. But still, Portugal has several visa types, and they could apply for a different one. And it's not just the Golden Visa that will lead to the Portuguese citizenship. Uh, it can be from any kind of visa. If you stay in Portugal with that visa, like with that residence permit for at least 5 years, you are still eligible for the citizenship.
right. And one just want to clarify is the second payment is 6K euro per applicant. Yes, that's the card issuing fee, right?
Yeah. The first fee, it's just for the online submission. It's of 605 euros. Uh, then when they call you to come to Portugal, you will need to provide biometrics. This is also a new rule. The payment must be made during the appointment, the in-person appointment at AIMA. So because before it will be just at the end after after you come to the appointment, you will need to pay later, but now it's during the appointment, and the amount it's of 6,000 euros. Yeah.
Right.
Per,
Yeah, we still have a lot of questions like 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me just go through them. You mentioned that fund coming to Portuguese bank should be from the country of origin. What if I'm resident in another country? It's fine.
yeah, when we mean country of origin, it's from the country where you are living. It doesn't mean that you must be a citizen of that country, like
Yeah,
a national of that country. It's
right,
just, yeah, they need to see that it was a legit transfer from abroad to Portugal under your name.
right. Yeah, that's the most important part. My children are 6 and 5. Should they apply GV with us since they won't be able to get the passport until 18? Or should we wait for us to get the passport first and apply for them after?
Yeah, situations like that are interesting because, well, they can be included for sure. So at the end of 5 years, yeah, they won't be able to apply by themselves directly through time of residence because that's just for those who are over 18. But in cases like that, if the parents go and apply for the Portuguese citizenship, and if they get the approval, then these children can apply through their parents as like son or daughter of a Portuguese citizen.
Yeah, I think my answer to these questions to my clients is if you think they will need the resident card within the 5 years, it's better to apply the GB with them because they will have the resident permit. So if they need to come here in case there's like suddenly they need to live here, right? So
Yeah, because in cases like that, after if they need to apply through their parents instead of time of residence, they will need to prove some relation with the country, like that they have some relation with Portugal, and this period of residence and being under the Golden Visa program will be eligible for that.
right. Um Okay. How to prove dependency of parents under 65 years of age? Under 65.
Yeah, that can be a little challenging, but it's still possible to do. Like what they will need to provide is if they have like a health condition, you will need to provide some medical reports. If they are single, if they don't have income, those are types of evidences that we can prepare to prove dependence.
And if the applicant is divorced, is a notarized marriage and divorce certificate required? Because his divorced spouse is deceased. I don't think they need, right?
No, that's
No,
not necessary.
you
Yeah,
just
if
don't
they're
include it in
applying
the application.
individually, yeah, it's
You just apply
necessary.
for yourself.
Yeah.
And if I choose to add my son, 23 years old, he can attach to mine with no further investment requirement. But
Yeah,
they need
correct.
to, yeah, they need
Yeah,
to have
all family members will
three.
be linked to the main investment that was made, and the minimum amount it's still like 500K. Even if you have like one or more family members to add, the minimum amount is the same.
Right, but of course they need to fulfill the 3 requirements because they're over 18.
Yeah.
When I renew the GV, do I need to resubmit any documents? Like marriage certificate, police?
Yeah, updated ones. Yeah.
Okay. Do we help with citizenship and residency? Definitely. It's a one-stop shop. We have provide end-to-end solutions.
Yeah, it's different. Just to clarify, this is a different process. It's not linked directly to the Golden Visa process. It's a different law that regulates this part. But yeah, this is something that it will be a different service, but we can definitely help with this part as well. So at the end of 5 years, there is a specific checklist for the application of the citizenship, and we could help with that. Yeah.
So for married couples, is it cheaper for the main applicant to apply for Golden Visa only for himself and then have the spouse become a citizen through the like declarations of the main dep? Like, I think, yeah, they could, right? One spouse get the citizenship through GV and the other one through marriage.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
that
because
throughout
is
the
that
timeline, you won't have the residence permit. That's
yeah, the thing is that family members that are included on the process for the Golden Visa, they at the end of 5 years they might be eligible. It's for the time of residence, not related to their relationship specifically. So they could apply at the end as the spouse of the investor if they were not included in the Golden Visa process. Or if they are in the Golden Visa process, they can apply through time of residence at the end of 5 years. If they don't want to apply at the end of 5 years, they can wait for the investor to get the citizenship first, and then they could apply for citizenship through their marriage.
Yeah, so for the one who's getting the citizenship through marriage, that case, you probably will have your citizenship by year 8, because first of all, you need to wait for your spouse to get the citizenship, which is about 6.5 years, and then you need to wait another 1.5 years to get yours. So that's the difference.
It will take longer. Yeah.
Yeah, and then is it no longer possible to buy property, invest property? No, that's no longer.
Yeah, it was terminated. Yeah.
Yeah. So do we keep the principal? Is it actually given to the organization we select? The term investment. It's an investment. It's not a donation. So you invest in the investment and then the investment can have gains. You can have to take the gains back. And of course, as an investment, it might also have losses. So it's the same questions. To qualify for citizenship after 5 years from application, must a person spend 7 days a year in Portugal from the date of application? No.
Yeah,
Only
it's
after you
from
get
the application date. It's after you get your residence permits. So, because the logic is like that, when we apply, we cannot guarantee that this will be approved at the end. Even though we prepare everything properly, we know that you will meet the requirements, but the right is not granted yet. It only starts the requirement after this right is granted. So after you get the approval, after you get the cards, we will need to check when is the issue date for the card itself. And from that date, you can count to check the time of the days that you need to be here.
Right. So another question which is related, can the 7 days of stay be included of the same trip of the biometric, which is no, because your card hasn't started yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also someone who's already submitted the GV application last 2 years ago. What is the likelihood of AIMA scheduling an appointment? So I think that's better to ask your lawyer, because they should be resubmitting your application right now. Yeah, but
Yeah.
within the next 6 months.
For pending applications, so AIMA has a huge number of pending applications that were not called yet for the appointments, and they had they released these new rules, so they are informing all lawyers and applicants about the situation. So for those who are waiting to be called to come to Portugal, what they need now, it's like a resubmission, because before, people will need to bring the original documents again for the appointment. They will need to reissue like updated documentation to bring to Portugal, like marriage certificate, birth certificate, this type of documents. Now, what they just need is they are calling people to resubmit it all through the portal, and then they will analyze it electronically. And the time you come, it will be just for the biometrics. They won't analyze original documents again. So that's the main difference. And for new applications, the same rule applies. And the big difference right now is actually that you won't need to update documents in the future. They will just consider the ones that we submit at first, and they will analyze everything electronically. And when you are called to come to Portugal, you don't need to bring updated documents.